Hey, this is T and Bob from No Followers Podcast, picking up a fresh episode here where we left off, where we get into focus groups, having just lived through one.
Well, today we just lived through a focus group of a product that was not used the way it was built.
100%.
And now there might be product iterations that change what that product is.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the power of testing things. And I think that's the other thing. You know, we're always talking about weeding out and filtering the right people because we can't work with everybody, and there's certain mindsets that are never going to fit here as a culture. But the other thing is people keep an idea forever, like the idea entrepreneurs. They never throw it out in the market because they don't want to test it because their ego is so tied to it.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? The fact is we have to break it to make it successful.
Mm-hmm.
We have to know where it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I think that goes, listen, bubble wrap didn't work as wallpaper. Shocking.
Yeah.
I know. I might try it though. I might bring it back as wallpaper.
I mean, I got plenty of it kicking around here. I mean, the other famous one that everyone knows is Viagra, right? Like,
I don't know anything about that. Sorry you have that problem, T.
But it is a famous one that is the amount of money made from the use it came out for is completely different than why it was invented. It was invented for heart disease.
Vasodilator.
There was a side effect, and that side effect became the main feature and benefit of that product. And it made a ton of money for people. So again, if you are really closely linked to it and you go, no, I invented this thing for hearts, that's fine. It's going to be another heart medication on the market along with the rest of them. Or it's the only erectile dysfunction pill. You choose what you want it to be. Our job in the incubator is to get you to that choice faster. And with the process that you've honed over 30 years, the design process that I use to get you there faster.
Well, that also talks about alpha and beachhead and what's going to accelerate, using that word again.
Yep.
Accelerate so that you can build other products, because most people aren't one-trick ponies, right?
Right.
They have a lot of ideas and they try to do them all at once, and then it's a complete failure.
Yeah.
Like it takes hyper focus to get something started.
Yeah.
And that we have this argument all the time here and even in our own companies with our clients. Laser focus to start a launch or start a company or build a product or launch a product, hyper focus on one target market.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the resources to do multiple.
Right.
It doesn't mean that the future isn't multiple.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, we live it with our product too. The bicycle, the patents, all this stuff, we pivoted to bicycles. That was something you helped us with wildly through doing customer discovery and seeing the need for it, making the pivot, doing all this stuff, validating. I mean, not market validation, but some early.
It was resource validation.
Yes. Yeah. And going through and saying, this may not be the thing we started out to do, but I think we create value in this market. And I think it's more approachable than the motorcycle market based on the resources we have available. But even within the bicycle market, there's 3 different avenues that our technology serves. So now we're at the point of doing the market validation to put it into the hands of riders and say, how would you use it? We start with how would I use it as the inventor. Now we move to how would you use it, refine, reiterate. But even with that, and you were even saying, you have to reiterate, you have to have laser focus. And this is something we see all the time, which is people are excited. This is what my product does. Then we say, okay, we can do that. And then they go, also these 5 other things. And we go, whoa, hang on. Let's focus, and you've heard me say, I'm a believer in, I think you can do one thing extremely well. I think your product can do 2 things well. I think if you try to do 3 things at once, it'll do it on an average basis. I think once you move past that, you're going to do 5, 6, 7 things mediocrely. And if that matches your market fit, if you're an economy product and you're in low, whatever, if it matches your price point, maybe that works. But having that laser focus of, we're going to come in, this is the market need, this is how we meet it, this is our feature benefit. That's what we try to get to. But even, sorry, I just want to throw this stat out. Dyson vacuums, which everyone knows, it's in Target, it's everywhere. 5,271 prototypes before he found a vacuum that worked.
And he's never taken venture money. He uses debt to finance all his companies.
Smart way to do it.
if you're willing to take all the risk by
Right.
yourself.
Yes.
Right?
And if you have that as an option,
right.
you know, myself personally, I am a fabricator and machinist and welder, and I understand metal. My prototypes, on another podcast, I'll tell you what I've spent to date. You know what it is.
I
and
told
you
you that
told me,
number a
you
long
did
time
tell
ago.
me that number a long time ago. But if I couldn't do that, you could probably double that. If I was, but you as an individual have to think about, am I going to spend my time becoming a machinist, fabricator, welder, all these things, or am I going to focus on the market and hire someone like me? And same thing with the marketing and the consulting. Bob knows how to do it and all that kind of, and his crew. And that's what it's about. It's about building that team to get you through. If you have to make 5,271 prototypes, to make sure you're focusing on the right things. Because if Dyson focused on, how do I make this really good at cleaning ceilings? Nobody cares about using a vacuum to clean your ceiling, right? I don't know, man, that's a whole new market.
That could be a whole new market.
Yeah.
And somebody has to clean ceilings.
But if you're going to make 5,000 prototypes, you better be focusing on the right features. Right. And you only know that if you know the benefits you're trying to create, and you only know that if you know your product market fit.
And I think if we're going to wrap this up, when the bikes and the motorcycles become successful, people will say you're an instant success, because they didn't see the 10 or 15 years that it took to get there. But the other disservice of social media and even other successful entrepreneurs and inventors do is they don't share their failures enough, right? I was in articles because I was one of the only people the journalists could talk to that would talk about their failures, not how great they were.
And that was one of the reasons we hit it off immediately, because I said to you, I'm thinking about doing this. And you said, you do whatever you want. But I did that, and this is how it worked out for me.
Right.
And that immediately won me over forever. You know what I mean? So, and that's one of the reasons we're doing this now, is we'll always talk about that.
Right, but the disservice is they want to change the narrative because they want to think, or they want to feel as important as their success, even though their success is only there because of the failure, right?
And if you're not willing to talk about the failure, or if you say to me, I haven't had failure, I've had these little failures, I immediately discount everything you say after that, because I don't believe you.
Were you at that meeting where that group said, we've never had an unsuccessful investment? Were you there? And they said,
go ahead.
I won't say where it was.
Yeah. Maybe I was then, because
I think you were there. And they said, we've never had an unsuccessul investment.
Yeah. That's bullshit.
Well, of course it is.
And the fact that you would make that statement is bullshit, because you have 100% win rate.
You were there. It was the building company, and their investor said, I only invest in companies that I've only made money on.
Yeah.
And I was like, then you should write a book, because or make a movie, because it sounds like it's a fable.
Yeah. These are my 10 steps to instant success. It's bullshit.
Nice.
Yeah.
I only need 2.
Hey man, good. We'll hold that for another episode. What the 2
I'll
steps
share it
are.
because it doesn't work. Okay.
There is no but this is, I'll wrap it up on this, but we talk about what we do in the incubator, what we do as a team, what Bob's team does, what we do here. As much as we have a process, I want to be clear about, in my opinion, you can push back on me, but it's not a formula. It's not formulaic. It's a process, but it's not 1 + 1 = 2. Sometimes it's 1 + 1 = 5, or 1 + 4
equals -10.
Yeah, there is a process to get you to an outcome, but it may not be the outcome you want, or it may not be the thing you thought it would be. I always thought I would build a bicycle. I never thought it would be the larger market. It's the larger market for sure, no matter how you slice it, and that's what we try to get to, is the process that we know works to get you to a product market fit, for you to then make the decision of, I do or I don't want to do this.
Yeah, and we talk about marketability and feasibility and viability all day long, right? The incubator isn't so much the viable, it's the feasible and marketable. And can we go somewhere with it? Yeah. Because even if you go to step 2 with us as an accelerator, it doesn't guarantee success. And even step 3, where we're dropping money or we're creating some kind of JV with the inventor, we know there's no guarantees. And that's the thing that we're trying to filter out, is if you're not here to take the risk, if we're willing to take the risk with you, we're not going to take all the risk.
Yeah.
But also you have to be aware that there's no reward without taking a risk.
Yeah. And that's pure risk capital. That's true risk capital.
That's true risk capital. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're not going to have people crying and calling you every 10 minutes because you didn't get your money back.
Right. Which was a hard lesson learned that you lived through. Right? Correct me
Yeah.
if
And
I'm
I
wrong.
talk people out of it all the time.
Yeah.
If you can't make sales and you can't have people that honestly understand the journey you're on and that it is going to fail a lot, doesn't mean the whole company's going to fail, but you're going to have really down times. And all they care about is getting their money back. That's a horrible investor.
Yeah.
It's not a partnership then.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
We'll wrap that
this
one up.
up?
You didn't
All right.
rant enough about instant traction.
Man, I'm easy going today. You know?
Because you're like Zen.
Yeah, I'm
and
very
you
zen
meditated
today.
before
I
with
meditated
the
earlier
mental
today.
health professionals.
Yeah.
So.
We're in a good place today. But we'll pick up next time. I'll rant more.
Nice.